distance in the light, vibration of a thunder.
Hello, loved ones. This is Matt Stevens, and this is the My Sober Addiction podcast. And we are happy, healthy, wealthy, loved, and free. And loved ones, I know that I have not been releasing podcasts, at all, really. And it's not that I haven't been recording any. I have. I really have. I've been recording some, and they've just not been hitting like I want them to. I know that might sound... It's like, well, Matt, you need to just get something out there. And I'm like, well, yes and no. I understand the whole thought process of, well, you got to stay consistent, and that's true. But I also need to stay authentic, dear loved one. I feel like my authenticity is more important than just being consistent and just putting something out there. I hope that makes sense. I have been recording videos because I've been talking a lot about the metaphysical stuff and Gnosticism and Hermeticism and all that. But of course, then I'll think back on whenever I was doing that more in the podcast, and I got a little sidetracked with all that and was like, yeah, I need to bring it back to addiction. And I have, and of course, Clive and Dom have helped a lot with that, with them getting on here and podcasting with me. We've had some fantastic discussions. I'm solo on this one, by the way, dear loved one. So, just so you know, I am definitely solo on this one. But I had recently recorded a video where I was talking about just the word nature and how we do have our true nature, which... get a little woo-woo with you here. We do have our true nature, which is our higher self, which resides on the outside of this. I believe that all of this reality is, at the end of it all, is illusory. It is just one big field of mind. And that mind originally is the mind of God, the universal consciousness, who had its own awakening, who had its own aha moment when it awakened and said, I am. And, the word, the phrase I am is so profound in so many ways because it's a declaration of I exist, right? It's kind of like when Rene Descartes said, I think, therefore I am. And it's saying that, I am mind, I am thinking, so therefore I exist. But I've said many times, at least in the on the YouTube channel, that the only thing I can be 100% certain exists is mind. Everything else is up for debate. All of this physical reality, I believe, is illusion. And that's not that new agey type of stuff, okay? Because the ancient Vedics have been talking about the Maya for centuries. Dare I say it, even millennia. That they've been referring to Maya, this physical reality, as this illusion of physical reality. And even the Hermeticists, when they talk in the Kybalion, it warns about not being among the half-wise. Now, the half-wise are people who understand that this physical reality is illusory, meaning it's not really real. It's just an illusion. But the half-wise are people who are just blow it off because of that. They're like, whatever. This isn't even real anyway, so it doesn't matter. Now, I do joke about that. I joke about that a lot. When something happens or whatever, I'll be like, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. None of this is real anyway. Of course, I'm joking. But it's like, to be the half-wise are those who know that and they understand it. So therefore, they just blow it off like, well, nothing matters anyway. I guess they get very nihilistic and think nothing matters anyway, so screw it. But the Kybalion, when it warns about not being among the half-wise, don't be like that. And what it means is, even though we understand the unreality of reality, we still have to treat it as though it is real. We still have to respect it as though it is real. Because while we are immersed in this reality, while we are immersed or submerged in this, it is very real. Our experiences are very real. The laws of nature are very real. If you jump off of something very high up, guess what's going to happen? The laws of nature, gravity, is going to be very real, even though it is all illusory. While we're here, while we're in it, everything is very real. And to be of the mindset that whatever, it doesn't matter, it's not real anyway. So anyway, I was talking about the nature of reality, and then the nature of our true self, our higher self. And when I say that, I do believe that all exists in the mind of the all, like it says in the Kybalion. It says all exists in the mind of the all being the universal consciousness, or God. And it's just a field. It's just mind. It's like, where is mind? Right? It's like if we say, well, okay, fine. We accept the fact that mind does exist. I mean, it does exist. Why do we know that? Well, because we're thinking. Because if we can't 100% put our finger on anything else, we can for sure know we exist. And so, yes, I am definitely one of those consciousness is fundamental people. I'm one of those people that thinks that consciousness is the building block. Consciousness is where it all begins from. Because if there's no consciousness, then nothing else happens. But some people don't think that way. There are people who are what we would call they are materialists. They believe in hard science. They're like, look, if I can't measure it, if I can't put my fingers on it, if I can't see it, touch it, taste it, smell it, hear it, then it doesn't necessarily exist. However, when we look at quantum physics and we realize that 99.99, I think it's 99.9999% of an atom is empty space. But also, when you do zero in on what you would consider to be hard physical matter, you realize that even that is just a vibration. That's just energy. It's energy in motion. It's just a so it's like even that doesn't really have any hard physicality to it. It's just vibratory fields, electromagnetic fields. It's pretty amazing, really. So when we look at the nature of reality, okay, that's one use of the word nature. Then we can look at the nature of our true higher self. It's like, well, I am mind. I definitely do exist. But this physical reality, well, it appears as though I am only interacting with this particular reality because it is within my vibratory field of perception. What I mean by that is, if everything vibrates between 0 at no vibration and 100, which is infinite vibration, which would be God, somewhere in between there is everything, right? So let's say we perceive anything from 5 to 10. And I say that because like the Schumann resonance is 7 point, something. 7 point something. And anyway, that is the Schumann resonance. That's the vibration of the earth. That's the earth's vibratory, its own vibration, its signature. And we clearly can interact with it. We clerally can perceive it. So it must be within our range of perception. So if ours is from 5 to 10, well, we do know that anything that vibrates on, let's say, a 15, it's there. We can even detect it with our instruments and things. We can calculate it. We can detect it. We just can't physically perceive it. We can't see it. We can't touch it. We can't taste it. We can't smell it, right? But we know it's there. But it's outside of our range of perception. But anything within that range of 5 to 10, we can perceive. So we know that things exist, and that's the nature of reality. In the nature of your higher self, your true version of self is in the field. There is no, I gotta believe there is no you that is a being that is in any place. It's just mind is everywhere. And then again, it's nowhere. Mind just exists. And in that mind, you were created, I was created, we were all created so that we can, I believe, explore and experience all that there is to be explored and experienced. That's what the universal consciousness is doing through us. It is living a life through you and through me and through every experiencing everything there is to experience and from every angle and every possible vantage point and every possible anything. It's a lot. It's a lot to wrap our heads around, dear loved one. But it's fascinating. And it's like, well, is it really necessary to understand these things? I mean, I guess not. I mean, but then again, it's like lots of things aren't necessary for survival, but they do enrich our lives. These things do enrich our experience. And then there's another use of the word nature, and that's what we all have always come to understand nature to be. It's like if we get out into nature, we go for a hike, we go through the woods and maybe along a stream, and we're out in nature. And I encourage people to stop and really appreciate that. Listen to the rustling of the leaves when the wind blows through. Listen to the way the water sounds as it's streaming down the rocks or whatever. The sounds of the birds. I mean, it's amazing. And I do think that our true higher self is on the outside of this and is very briefly having this experience. And this is not our natural habitat, I suppose. It's not our natural state. Our natural state, I believe, is in the universal source, in the mind of God. And then when we come into this and have this experience, it's a very brief experience, but it's beautiful. And we can learn and grow so much in such a short amount of time. And sometimes it is important, yes, to just get out into nature, get grounded. And now, at the time of recording this anyway, it's springtime, it's beautiful outside, everything's coming to life. It's not cold. It's not cold out like it was. We can actually get outside and enjoy nature. We can actually get outside and listen to the birds. And just go out and get some fresh air and just breathe. Let the sun warm your face. You know, it's very nice. In the video that I'd recently done, I was talking about that. I said, you know, this environment, this realm, if you'll give me that we're in, is not necessarily our natural habitat. But then again, what is? Right? What is exactly? But going back to the Kybalion and don't be among the half-wise. Even if this is very temporary, very fleeting, it's very transitory, it still is what our experience is right now. So we need to embrace it. We have learned so much. And I know that I'm a little biased, right? I know that I've said how much I love addicts, and I am a little biased, so it's okay if I come on here and I say, especially us, dear loved ones, those of us who have experienced addiction, we have seen a lot. We've seen a very ugly side of this experience. We've seen a very ugly side of what life can be. But you see, that makes it so that we can truly appreciate what's beautiful. We can truly appreciate the good things. Because another thing we learn in the Kybalion, or just from Hermeticism altogether, is the law of polarity. You can't have this without that. The polarity says you can't have hot without cold. But they are on the opposite end. The law of polarity says you can't have this without that. You can't have hot without cold. Up without down. I mean, it's just, but it goes further, and it says, that everything is the same thing. It's just varying degree of the same thing. It's like, at what point does hot become cold? At what point can you not tell the difference? It's like, well, it's cold and it's hot. Or it's not either. It's a sliding scale, and that is polarity. But what I think that we, dear loved one, those of us who are addicts in recovery, and we're now on this side of addiction, we can look back on how horrific it got, right? I mean, I don't have to tell you, but I mean, I think back on some times when I was dope sick, and it was the most, just the most hopeless, some of the most hopeless feelings. It is the feelings of dread. I mean, and I don't know if I'd ever really experienced dread before that, but that word dread is really, it becomes meaningful. It becomes meaningful. It becomes powerful when you realize, when you're dope sick off of an opioid and everything's just falling apart, right? You got the sneezes that won't stop, the yawning that won't stop, the diarrhea that won't stop, the nausea that won't stop, the leg cramps that will not stop, the headache that literally feels like your head is, it's like, it feels like it's both in a vice where it's being squeezed, and it also feels like the pressure's pushing out to the point where you don't know if your skull can take it. It's like, is it pushing in or pushing out? I can't tell. It's like both. And the normies who've never experienced it, I'm glad, because I've got a lot of normies in my family and they don't understand. And I mean, it's like I would like for them to understand maybe, but at the same time, I'm like, no, I don't, because the only way you could possibly understand is to have experienced it. And I don't want that for anybody. Particularly not for the people who've been there for me and supported me through all of this. But we can experience and appreciate the beauty of the world, as bad as things may be in the world. And I know you might be looking around and thinking, dang man, it's not that great. I mean, there's some crazy shit going on in the world, and you're telling me to go out here and appreciate the beautiful things? I'm like, yeah, I am. A couple of reasons. One, there's nothing you can do about that other stuff. I'm sorry. I know that I'm supposed to say, well, we can all pull together and make the world great. We can make the world great, but not in a way that all the, I guess, idealists would say we can. We can make the world great by being great. One person at a time. And you getting out here and appreciating the beauty of nature, Be it the ocean, be it the forest, be it desert landscapes, mountains, rivers, just a sunrise, a sunset. When we look at the beauty and the amazing, and just how amazing nature is, and how amazing it is that we get to be a part of this. As crazy as things may be in the world, when you look at it from the law of polarity, you realize it has to be crazy. Because as crazy as it may be, that means that it must be equally as amazing. It can't be this bad without being equally that good. It's the law of polarity. So as bad as things are, and there's been some news items that have come out, and I'm not going to get into them here. It's not necessary. You know what I'm talking about. But there have been some news items come out of late where you're like, wow, the world is an ugly, ugly place. And I understand your thinking behind that. I do. It's hard not to think that. It's hard not to look at those news items and think, how can it be anything but hideously ugly? If nothing else, allow that to encourage you, dear loved one. Allow that to encourage you to be like, well, what that tells me is, if nothing else, it tells me this. If things can be that ugly, then it also has to mean that things can also be that beautiful. We just have to look for it. The problem is that there is so much negativity thrown at us through the news media, through social media, through all these media outlets, through all the internet, the social media, and yeah, just that's basically it. Social media, the news media. I mean, there's other ways, but we don't have to get into all of it. But there's so much ugliness thrown at us. And I have reason to believe that that is all on purpose to keep our vibration down, so we stay in that low vibrational state. And that's a whole other topic. But suffice it to say that when we see all the ugliness, when we see all that, if nothing else, let it encourage you that there is something that is equally as beautiful. We got to find it. There are very dark forces in the world, and they are doing their level best to keep all that from us. For whatever reason, and I do think I know what the reason is, but I'm not getting into it right now. But they do have their reasons for not wanting us to see that. You see, the ugly stuff that's going on, it's so readily available. That's by design. That's on purpose. If they didn't want us to be in the state that puts us in, then we wouldn't be seeing it. I know that's getting a little conspiracy theorist, and that's okay too. Just because it's a conspiracy theory doesn't mean it's not also a conspiracy fact. Because a lot of conspiracy theorists have been proven very right in recent years. That's very true. So anyway, dear loved one, you have witnessed how ugly it can be. You've witnessed how ugly you can be. You've witnessed how ugly it can be. Now, think about it like this. It's like, well, if things can be that ugly, there has to be the other side. There has to be an equal and opposite. So, as ugly as it's been, is the worst you've ever seen, the worst you've ever been, means that there has to be an equally beautiful. As bad as you've been, you can be equally as amazing. Isn't that awesome? Doesn't that make you feel like, wow, if I can be that bad, then that means the law of polarity tells me that I can also be that good. In fact, I have to be, because I have to balance it out. I just have to find that version of me and be it. And I want to encourage you, dear loved one, to do that. Find that version of you. Go on that walk. Go on that hike. Watch the sunrise. Watch the sunset. Listen to the birds. Get in touch with nature. Meditate. Say your prayers. Whatever it is that you do. Because here's what I know, dear loved one. I know that the worst you've ever been is pretty bad. But I also know that that means that there is a version of you that is equally as beautiful. So, there you go. Anyway, dear loved ones, if you have not been seen the website yet, I have been putting a few blog posts here and there on there. I need to do more. If you have not yet checked out the YouTube channel, yes, I do talk a lot more woo-woo stuff on there, but it's just Matt Stevens. I am coming up with a name for it, and then subsequently a website for it will be forthcoming. So there's that. And this one, I think I'm going to keep it unedited. Well, there was one little part there where where my phone went off, so I might edit that part out. But other than that, I might just keep this unedited and keep it raw. And those are the ones that I have done like that seem to have come over pretty well. I mean, they seem to be received pretty well by you guys. So anyway, there's that. But anyway, dear loved ones, if you have not yet given me a review yet somewhere, wherever you get your podcast, I would really appreciate that. That would be fantastic. But anyway, I'm going to let you go from here, but just remember, you are loved. Yeah, because I do love you. I really do. And I will be back directly.